welcome once again to Beyond the Veil. Ooh. Okay.
Spooky in here tonight.
Oh yes. When last we left off, we were scattered and adrift, and separated and confused deep within the ethereal realm, the border between reality, and occasionally other reality. Um, it is a realm of possibility, a realm of dreams, a realm where nothing is up or down, right or left, good, bad, nothing makes sense, filled with mystery, and I think it's a perfect place for our heroes from the Feywild. So, just to recap beyond that, very briefly, I'm going to go through and we'll see, make sure everybody remembers where they're at. Relic, where were you?
I was stood in front of a stone circle type portal type looking thing.
That's right.
And I was doing a ritual cast of detect magic to see if I'd found the right one.
Excellent. Very good. All right. Sib, you were in the deep.
Yep, and I am still adrift in the deep ethereal, and I will be for 30 hours.
Yes, that's a little scary, but you're okay.
Same, dude. Same.
Kyler's the same, that's right. And the speaker.
I think we're on like a floating island that some humanoids are mining stuff on. There's some trees and stuff, and we've got the boggart Nicholas with us.
That is correct. And nobody knows where Jeff and Hyacinth are.
Uh-oh.
They scattered with the rest of you. So, we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Does anybody just have something on their heart they want to do? Like just they've been dying to do all week?
No, I'm good.
I don't know, DM. I'd like to get the hell out the deep ethereal.
Pretty much!
I don't know. It would be nice. Yeah. I was trying to figure out if that was a trick question. I don't know.
Alright, so yeah, no worries. So, we know Sib and Kyler are attempting to get back. I believe Kyler is the same boat. You're just even the same amount of time, if I remember correctly.
Indeed.
Yes.
That's why Kyler said same, dude.
Yeah. So, you
What
guys
a
are
coincidence.
you guys are just like mentally traveling through the deep ethereal, just desperate because you've kind of realized where you're at. I know, Relic, you had pictured in your mind a portal, and you landed on this floating mass of proto-matter, basically, with a large circular construct on it. Looks like it's made out of stone. The matter you're standing on is actually slightly spongy. You can feel it under your feet. It looks like rock, but it's spongy. And, you know, as you can see from the visual, it's just mists as far as the eye can see. Occasionally you'll see hints of color or a flash of something out of the periphery that looks familiar and yet not familiar, like places or windows and shadows. It's eerily quiet where you're at. So you're staring at this round structure. What do you want to do with it?
Well, I'm doing the detect magic in order to see if it is a magical portal, for one. And once I've done that, if it is, then I'm probably going to start casting Identify to figure out how it works.
All right.
That's his plan. He's thinking very logically right now.
And that's fine.
Which probably doesn't help in the ethereal.
So you're doing the ritual cast, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So you're artificer.
Yep, I got my thieves' tools in hand.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you're doing it. You cast it, and you don't detect any magic really anywhere. As you pop it off, like you'll get little glimpses of it here and there, but nothing like solid that you can lock onto with it. The portal itself doesn't appear to be magical at all.
Of course. Okay. Well, that sucks. He's probably gonna try and think of a more standard. Well, maybe the portal that he came through first off to go with Sib to Oberon's place. He's gonna try and imagine that kind of a looking portal and then attempt to go there.
All right, you're gonna
I
try.
do believe we were all trying to imagine the grove, though.
Which apparently didn't really help us.
It's all good. It's all good. You want to picture Oberon's portal?
Do what?
He's wanting. I was asking Relic. He wants to picture Oberon's portal and try to.
Yeah.
All right, give me an intelligence. We'll say just a save.
All right.
Nice. You have a slight disorientation, and you just whisked. You don't really so much feel movement, but you get the sense that you've moved. And it's almost instantaneous. And when you stop feeling like you've moved, you're standing in front of a shadowy version of the portal ahead of you. You're actually standing on the hill. You can see faint ghostly outlines of the stags that you remember from before. You see the shimmering portal, but it's almost like you're looking through a haze. The mists are all still around it. It's like a ghostly image of what you remember.
Is it magical though?
No, you can't detect any magic still.
Dang it. Yeah, Relic's running out of ideas, I think.
That's fine. We'll round robin it for a minute. So as you're doing this is happening simultaneously. We know Sib and Kyler are steady traveling. Speaker. Yeah, I believe they tried to hand you some mining implements last we spoke. And you were like, nah, I don't think so, bro.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Do these arms look like they're fit for physical labor?
You do see Nicholas kind of shifting and changing, kind of peeking out from behind you, but he's eyeballing these people hungrily.
All right. Is there some sort of like foreman or person in charge that I could try to get some information from?
The older gentleman that tried to hand you the mining implements appears to be calling the shots.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna. We're not mining for him. We're not working. But maybe he can give us some information.
All right. So he's sitting there like looking a little disappointed that you waved off the pick that he tried to hand you.
What are you mining here, sir?
Well, the protomatter. Isn't it obvious?
To what end?
Well, we're trying to find the lily.
The lily.
Well, a lily is, we're trying to find one. They're kind of rare, but isn't that why you're here? What are you doing here with a child?
We were trying to find our way home.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, we got a little lost.
Yeah, here, just I don't know, picture your happy place. I got things to do. He turns around and starts walking off.
Yeah, okay, thanks, guy. You want some drugs? Help your workers work longer.
He actually looks a little irritated as he's walking off. He thought you were coming to work.
All right, well, we're going to go back to where Nicholas is hiding.
All right. But he's actually kind of hiding behind you right now.
Oh, good. Then we're gonna try and sit down in like the tree line.
Well, it's not so much a tree line. It's just a big, kind of bare floating mass of proto matter.
Oh.
You can see other smaller ones that have shaped
Broken
into.
off, then?
Yeah, it looks like a broken rock. Some of them actually looks like they've tried to take shape into buildings. There's other little masses floating nearby.
Oh, cool. Are there any little pieces that I could like pick up, or would I need to pick for that?
No, you could. You could pick up a piece. That's not an issue. I tell you what. Give me a.
I'll stuff a chunk into my bag.
Yeah, that's no problem. Give me a perception roll.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. You don't really see anything. Like you managed to find a small piece of the proto matter nearby. That's just a cast off from them picking away. They're not really collecting the proto matter. So there's a lot of loose stuff around.
Okay.
You actually see Nicholas pick up a piece and start chewing on it.
Well, I don't know if that's a good idea, but Kit, don't eat that. Like, kind of like slap it out of his hand a little bit.
He growls at you, goes to pick it back up.
No. No. All right. With that done, I'd like to try and meditate and see if we can reach any of the party. Like, if any of them are still within any sort of range to be on our, like, spore network still.
Alright, yeah, your spore network, no. Are you actively focusing on any of them?
I don't know, like the little rapport spores that they've kind of
Yeah, you're way
grown a little bit. That's way too far out.
But yeah, the range is a little weird here, but yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's good. Like, if I can't reach them, that's good enough.
But you're not focusing on anyone in particular or anything?
No, I was just trying to kind of see if any of them could, or if I could get to any of them to kind of, I don't know, beacon them to me or something.
Alright, let's do this. I want to give... Okay, good. Alright. So yeah, no? Just you guys and the steady clink, clink, clink of them picking away at the proto matter. You can
All right.
kind of see them whispering amongst themselves and looking at you guys from time to time.
Then I would like to kind of... I don't know, I suppose do the, think of the grove and like home.
Alright.
But with Nicholas, I'm going to have to hold his hand and kind of like plant the image of the grove and a home he's never been to in his mind so that this doesn't go awry.
You can take him with you. You can hold on to him and take him with you.
I'm going to take him with, but I don't want his
Its own
mind
thoughts.
state, his own thoughts to kind of interfere with our travel.
Luckily for you, his thoughts are pretty focused on meal right now. He's hungry.
Yeah, I think that's why he brought us, or the Void brought us to meet people.
So yeah, give me a... I tell you what, I'm going to... Just because I'm feeling really generous, give me one more perception roll. And then we'll do your intelligence check. Okay.
Oof.
It's alright. Meat people. Yes, meat people. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and give me your intelligence save for travel.
Okay.
All right. That's a good one. So, zoom. You once again, you get the sensation of movement. Ginkgo is the speaker, Featherfall. um, you get the sensation of movement, and then you stop, and you're actually standing in the middle of the grove, a shadowy version of it. Um, you can see the strange tree that grew in the middle. You can see where your camp was, now slightly disused and fallen into disrepair. Even the flowers that you remember, everything is there, but it's like a shimmering, shadowy version of it. Everything kind of looks like a good description would be like when Frodo puts the ring on in Lord of the Rings, if you've seen the movies. That's what everything kind of looks like right now, this weird shadowed version of it.
Is anybody else here?
Just you. And,
Okay.
and Nicholas, of course.
And Nicholas?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of want to try and like push through the haze to see if I can like spread it with my hands.
And try and
Maybe like walk through it.
you want to
Okay.
kind of try and pierce the ethereal curtain with your hands.
Not with my hands. I'm gonna bamp out my new astral arms to do this.
Um. Uh. Let me see here. It's a good question. Can an astral construct pierce the ethereal realm? I'm gonna say no.
Damn.
Just based on the principle of there being two different realms. Your arms are in the astral, or from the astral, or of the astral, and you are in the ethereal.
Okay. Then would my physical hands work?
About the same. About the same.
Okay.
So, as you're
What about
trying to
right?
kind of figure this out, right? Trying to force your way through, more or less. I'm gonna bump over real quick to we'll go with Seb. Seb, you're doing your best, as is your seed nature. You're calm, you're focused, resolute in your purpose. And, I assume, unless you want to freak out, you're welcome to freak out if you want to.
Yeah, she's Sid's remaining calm, trying to focus like really hard on the grove, but she's like thinking to herself, if Millie and Achilles never have to go through what I have to go through and all this, then I will have done my job as a big sister.
So, give me a disadvantaged perception check, because you're distracted and focused and trying to just get where you're going.
Okay.
Okay. So, your movement is halted suddenly. You've run into something.
All right.
Do you want to open your eyes and look, or just refocus?
I will open my eyes and look just in case if it's something dangerous. So yeah.
All right. Where are you? There you are. So, this is floating in front of you. This gentleman. Eyes glowing like two shimmering pools of of mirrored liquid hair drifting lazily in the ethereal mass around him. He's just staring at you, floating. He looks a little offended that you've run into him.
I'm going to look at him and to say, sorry, pardon, I was just trying to make my way home.
So his voice, with a slight echo, comes back and says, you should not be here.
Well, I don't want to be here. I'm trying very hard to get my way out, thank you.
Why are you alone?
My traveling companions and I all drifted apart by mistake.
You
As it so happened.
You should not be here. He says,
Oh.
he reaches his hand out and says, take my hand.
Oh. Why? Where do you want to take me?
I'd just as soon cast you adrift here in the deep ethereal, but if you want to get out of here, this is your chance.
Alright, so I reach out and take his hand.
Right. His skin is cool to the touch. And you take his hand, he looks down at you cautiously for a moment, and then whisks, like you're just gone. Boom. You get the sense that you're not traveling like you were, but you're tunneling, almost, if that makes sense, through.
Yeah.
When you stop, you're standing on what appears to be a balcony on a large stone tower, just drifting in the ethereal. And he's standing next to you, and he lets go of your hand very gently and says, now, to the effect of your companions, can you tell me about them?
Well, one was a white kobold artificer who was very interested in gears. Another was a changeling who was a druid. Another was a Myconid monk who was had a very colorful cap and very pointed. Then another was a Treant that looked as if he was not burnt necessarily, though almost covered in white ashes with a sort of wreath thing on his chest, and he had a tiny pixie traveling companion that looked rather like a pink lily.
Tell you what, as unique as these individuals seem, he reaches his hands up, like outstretched, showing you his palms in a non-threatening gesture, and begins to reach towards your temples, and he very softly asks, may I?
You want a visual image from my mind of them?
Please.
Certainly, it's much more helpful in this instance than trying to describe them, I'm sure. But yeah, I will allow him.
Alright, so he reaches up and touches your temples, and you can feel like energy move between you. And he lets go, shakes his head, and says, wait here. And in an instant, he's gone. Kyler, as you're barreling along yourself,
Gotta go fast, gotta go faster, faster, gotta go fast.
you suddenly get the sense that there's a presence next to you.
Zoom, zoom. Wait, what?
Yeah. There's a presence next to you.
Continuously as I continue to zoom, zoom, or just
Yeah.
I pass him like, you.
No, he's right next to you the whole time.
Oh.
Would you like to take a
Okay.
look?
Yeah.
So this gentleman is
Oh.
right next to you, watching you. Once he sees that you notice him, he kind of grins
Okay.
and says, "You must be the changeling."
Narrows eyes.
Your friend, Lady Sibylla, sent me to collect you.
Mm,
Are you guidancing yourself?
yes.
Okay.
And then this.
Okay. With the additional D4?
Yes.
Okay. 14? Alright. You don't sense anything dangerous necessarily, although this is a little weird. I mean, his eyes are stark white, which is a little unnerving. The little twin mirror pools. He's keeping up with you. He found you, no problem. But you don't get the sense he's out to get you. He's-
Okay.
He says, "Kyler, my friend." He reaches his hand out and says, "May I?"
Uh, uh, yes.
You take his hand.
Yes.
Alright. The moment he grips your hand gently, poof, you get the sensation that you're no longer traversing, you're tunneling, you're moving through a different type of method, let's just say. Moments, if that pass, and poof, you appear on a large stone balcony attached to a large stone tower just drifting through the ethereal. Standing next to you is Lady Sibylla and this gentleman. He says, I guess that's 4 more to go. Please, stay here. And he poofs again, leaving the two of you probably a little disoriented on this balcony together.
Okay. Hi.
You have a couple moments to say hello, but he'll be right back, depending on how long it takes to gather the others.
Okay. Well,
Together again.
Ooh, I was sent adrift on the deep ethereal.
same, dude. Same.
I don't know what is up with me mentally today. I just. Ugh.
Bad day.
Hmm.
Alright, so Relic, you're going to be next.
Yay.
So you're still trying to figure out what you're looking at, the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And you suddenly get the sense that somebody is standing behind you.
Okay. That's not creepy. I turn around.
So this gentleman is kind of standing, kind of leaning over you, and not disrespectfully, but just he's trying to look and see what you're looking at.
Hello?
Greetings, my diminutive friend.
Okay. Yeah, you too? Big, bigger person?
I apologize. I'm not used to social interactions. Your friend, Lady Sibylla, sent me to collect you. He reaches a hand out and says, "May I?"
I mean, sure.
You take his
Okay.
hand. All right.
If it gets me to sip quicker, sure.
All right. You take his hand. All right. The moment he grasps your hand, just poof, you're gone, and your travel is instantaneous. Like just boom. You're standing on the balcony with the other two and him.
I'm like,
And he nods and says, "Please wait here," and pops out again.
how did you do that? That's... Whoa. Hi, guys.
Hello again, Relic. Probably a native of this plane, or at least one very attuned to its energies.
Yeah.
So, speaker, no subterfuge with you. You see, I forgot to get you on here. There we go. Boom. You see this gentleman appear in the grove and slowly, hands up in a non-threatening gesture, approach you.
Okay. We also put our hands out in a non-threatening gesture.
Nicholas copies you.
Yeah. Nicholas just kind of be nice to this one.
He says,
Hello, stranger.
says, "You must be the speaker and young Master Nicholas.
We are indeed.
It's been lifetimes since we've seen a boggart. Your friend Lady Sibylla has sent me to collect you."
Always the watchful one. That is.
So he puts a hand out to you, says, and then one out to Nicholas, and says, "Please come with me."
And kind of like help Nicholas take the ghost's hand.
All right.
And yeah, we'll take the other one.
All right. So once again, instantaneously, poof. All of you are standing on this large balcony on this big stone tower together. And he says, "I believe I have one more stop. I shall return." Poof, he's gone. Leaving you all.
Make such a nice friend out here in nowhere.
I ran into him as I was drifting through the deep ethereal.
What did
Can't
you
say I
promise him
was-
in return?
Do what?
What did you promise him in return?
Nothing. He just asked what I was doing out in the deep ethereal, and I said I was trying to get out of there, and he brought me here and asked me why I was alone, said that we all had drifted apart without intending to, and he went to go fetch you for me, which clearly he was good to his word, but no promises made.
Our experience with the natives of this land showed that they were more brutal and ruthless.
Brutal in what way?
Well, the guy had slaves and was whipping them, forcing them to dig this stuff out of the ground with the picks.
What?
So as you're talking, the door behind you on the tower opens, The gentleman is standing there, the one that's brought you all together. He looks slightly troubled. And he says, I must apologize. First off, for my awkward manners. I don't see too many people outside my own here. My name is Styragoth Mistwalker. And it pains.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, dear Goth.
Of course, and I'm afraid it pains me to inform you that I have bad news. It's probably easier if I show you. Please, step inside.
I step inside.
Go ahead.
Did Jeff and Hyacinth make it back?
No.
Worrying.
I assume this is going to be the bad news.
Is he asking us all to step in?
Yeah, he's invited you all in.
Okay.
I go
we're
last
going in.
then.
Yeah.
All right. Is that
Shuffle into this guy's office then.
is that everybody coming in?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the worst meeting with HR I've ever heard of.
So as you step in, the room that you enter is easily 5 times larger than it should be. It's not the inside of a tower that you step into, but rather a dome filled with stained glass that looks like pure moonlight and filigreed silver. The floor is the whitest marble, and yet it's soft rather than hard. It cushions each step as you take it. The air is filled with twinkling lights that look like silvery fireflies. In the center of the room is a large fountain with a creature that looks similar to your host standing in the middle of it, except it's a woman. Very proud looking. Next to the fountain you see Jeff standing there motionless. It's about a good 30 feet away from the door. He's motioning you over to where Jeff is.
I step forward and I'm sort of looking at Jeff worryingly at this point.
His back's to you, but he's not moving at all.
Well, not moving isn't too unusual. He's a tree.
It's fair. Very fair. I assume you guys are all going in? I just have to ask, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I get the cautiously,
Okay.
I guess.
So as you make your way around, you notice that Jeff is not only not moving, he is statuesque. As you round where he's standing to where you can see him, he's hunched over a little bit with his hands in front of him. Inside his clawed tree-like fingers, you see Hyacinth cringing inside his hands. And as you get closer, you realize that they are both entirely made of stone. He's standing next to them. He actually looks very sad. Styragoth does. And as you get closer and you kind of see what's going on, he genuinely, sadly says, like, I am so sorry I didn't find them in time, but Medusa's gaze pierces even the Ethereal, and I fear that that's where they landed, is in one of their foul dens. I found them like this and narrowly avoided the creature myself, but I was able to bring them here. I'm afraid I have no means of reversing this. I'm sorry.
Sib just lifts her hand up and just, like, is sort of... She draws a quick breath in, like, she just looks horrified at her petrified friends here.
Yeah, the speaker is also quite moved.
So,
Poor Jeff.
I look at everybody else and then I try to look sad.
okay. So, he gives you a moment to process what's going on quietly, uninterrupted, before he very timidly asks, is there anything I can do to help you?
I mean, you could teach us that travel trick. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty neat.
Sib just takes her index and middle finger and presses them to her temple, and she's just like, ugh. I don't suppose you would have any sort of, or know of anyone who would have any sort of restorative spells. Ugh. At this point, the most we can do is... We need to get back to our home, the Feywild, and if there's any way we can bring Jeff and Hyacinth through, maybe we can put their petrified bodies in the grove until we're able to get some sort of restorative cure.
I once again must apologize. My people have such things, but especially as natives of the Feywild, I'm afraid I cannot bring you there. Not to where my people are. We have a less than pleasant history with the natives there. Not you in particular, but the elves and their deities. He nearly spits as he says the word.
Not like the elves or any natives of the Feywild anyways. Those celestial orphans who were cast out of Arvindor because they rejected their Fey natures and chose to become humanoid.
Well,
They have Fey ancestry. I don't consider them of us.
I
Just
understand.
stroll away. Just walk over here. It's fine.
He says, but they do consider themselves, and they are there. I don't want to start a war again. We spent so long in the pits, thanks to them. But enough of that. You must be tired and hungry. I'm sure you have questions. I can do what I can.
Just amble back over. Thank you.
I can do what I can.
I suppose eating would be the best at the moment, though we do need to get back to the Feywild because Nicholas here, we made a promise to Atreon that he would make a safe return to the Feywild, so we at least need to get Nicholas there before we attend to our own errands, I should say. Or mission. Mission would be more of an accurate term.
Well, it's interesting. You're on a quest then, I take it. Fascinating. I might be able to help you. You have not been here long. Is this your first excursion into these realms?
Yes, after we completed a favor for Oma, we were tossed here.
Oma. Huh. So he kind of looks across each of you and says, "So you've only just arrived."
More or less, yes.
Oh my. And as he says that, each of you make a con save, please.
Shit.
Oof. Hey, right.
Wait, whoop, I still had disadvantage on.
That's right, I'll go with the first roll. That's fine.
Yeah, that's technically the R1 and roll 20 syntax. It's
Yeah.
also a +1, by the way. Like, so it's a 24.
Okay, no, that's fine. Kyler, are you using luck or something?
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Well, that was something.
I don't know what just happened there.
No,
I was trying to do guidance on myself and then the con save.
Oh, well, you wouldn't be able to use guidance for this one.
Oh, never mind then.
That's-
All right.
that's
I mean,
right.
it's a cantrip, so whatever.
Well, it's not a. You'll see. You'll see. It's not anything you would have known was happening, so you wouldn't have known to use guidance.
Okay, I'll use the luck point then, because that 8 is awful.
All right, so that'll be your 19 then. All right, Relic, you got the 7.
Mm-hmm.
Sib's 24. Speaker's 8. So Speaker, Relic, you guys. As he says that, he and looks at you guys kind of worriedly. The two of you sort of suddenly get really dizzy and disoriented.
Yay.
Like motion sick is what it feels like. Your host kind of smiles knowingly, says, "Please sit. This can happen your first time through." As he says that, chairs actually raise up out of the floor behind you.
Okay, that's it.
All right.
Yep.
So, you guys are experiencing ether sickness right now. Something that happens first time you come into the ethereal realm sometimes. Generally, it's only in the deep, but based on the nature of where you've been and how you've been traveling first time through. You're going to have a -2 on all your rolls for a while, you two. So just keep that in
Hooray.
mind. The rest of you kind of feel it pass you for a second, like there's a little bit of a oof. And then you kind of catch yourself. You're like, okay, I'm okay.
Does Styragoth explain this?
He kind of just did. That's what he was saying. Like this could happen your first time through.
Okay, just making sure I heard that, because it's not an effect that impacts me, but I would know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, he goes through and explains to you that you don't actually need to eat here if you're hungry. You just think about eating. Imagine a full belly. Imagine a quenched thirst,
Oh no.
and it will be. He also
I look
goes
at
on.
Nicholas.
And Nicholas, he's already like rubbing his belly and smiling real big.
No.
He also goes on to explain that any food you've brought in is probably going to taste like licking tree bark, no matter what it is, unless you have some of the fieriest chilies from the deepest pits of hell to put flavor in it. He offers the rest of you seats as well if you would like. He sits himself.
I accept. So I'm gonna sit.
Okay. And he's very cordial, if a little bit withdrawn at moments and a little bit nervous, you can tell. But once again, he's being very kind. Um, does anybody have anything specific they want to ask him or say to him or do?
Well, pardon my earlier, sort of distasteful opinion of elves like earlier, but they are creatures of Fey ancestry and such, do share some of the mannerisms of us, and your lot doesn't really seem to be as joyous and freedom-loving as I'm used to with other Fey creatures, so do tell me, what what of your elven culture, like, makes you the way that you are?
Well, I suppose it's a matter of history. I'm sure if you're knowledgeable of our kind at all, you are aware of the civil war that led to the drow being what they are. We were there, and we're actually a very peace-loving, carefree society then, and opted not to get involved. And for our pacifism, we paid the price as the drow did terrible things to us. We bloodied many of their altars to that foul bitch Loth. Needless to say, we were fooled once again as we sought to escape that horrible fate, and this creature who called himself Thule offered us a salvation. We were once again tricked and ended up bound to a contract with a pit fiend.
Well, that was foolish.
I see what you did there. But yeah, we fought in the Blood Wars. We did his bidding.
Oops.
Until we eventually could turn that table, slaughter the pit fiend himself, and escape here in hopes of living some form of life without something constantly breathing down our necks and trying to destroy us, which I'm sure you'll understand is also one of the reasons we don't generally let outsiders know where we live.
Oh, I can understand, but whenever you've angered pit fiends of all creatures, oof. They don't take well to being double-crossed as such.
No. No, they do not.
So what's of the strange mirror-like eyes? Those aren't rather unlike anything I've ever seen. They're fascinating.
It's just the nature of my people. Time spent in hell, time spent here in the Ethereal. It takes its toll. But enough about me. How can I help you?
Gonna do that last one there.
Thaumaturgy? What are you trying to do specifically?
Make my eyes look like his.
As a changeling, you don't need thaumaturgy to do that.
No, not at all.
I know it's a cantrip. I'm just doing it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, it's perfectly
Well,
alright.
you've seen ghost elves now. You could just shape shift into a ghost elf, or like just make your eyes look like his. Just sort of like, yeah. Once you've
I'm
seen
aware.
him,
I'm aware.
Oh, I love these
This
guys.
is just like a slight thing that I'm doing, like
You're trying to get used to who you are.
just reaching out the fingertips, I guess.
That's fine. No, that's fine. You'll get a look from him, but nothing negative. More of a curious look.
Sib's going to like tilt her head and look over at Kyler, cock an eyebrow up, and be like, Kyler, you're aware that you can do that without casting a spell. You know that, right?
Kyler is silent.
Yeah.
You can be
Really?
silent. That's all right.
Like you don't think I know how to do this by now? Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm doing a thing, man.
There's the Kyler we know. So,
Why you gotta be all like that with it?
Does Dirigot know like a method to pierce the veil between this realm and like the realm that we're viewing?
are you asking?
Yes.
Can I pierce the realm into the prime?
Yes. Can we like I don't know, like shit,
Or are you wanting to return to the Feywild?
or any world? I assume. Can we
Sevilla
use
is
this
going.
to, like, slice like reality into wherever we want to go? Like
Sevilla is going to place her hand on Speaker's shoulders and be like, our first priority is returning to the Feywild so we may return young Nicholas here.
Yeah, but okay, fine, but yes,
Yes.
we can use the same techniques to get right back to the grove.
If you wish to return, it's a small matter, I suppose.
Why are you helping us?
Don't know. I suppose it's just been a long time since I saw someone else out here in the mists.
Well, I had
I
been
like
at...
this one. It's very kind.
Yes, and I suppose I did not greet you with an answer to your earlier question. I was distracted for a moment there. You'll have to excuse me, but as for us, we are out here, well, first to return Nicholas to the Feywild before he transforms into a will-o-wisp, and we're unable to get him out of the Ethereal, but after that, we've been on a mission, a quest to find the heart of the Feywild, and rather metaphorical, but here's as much as we've got. And she goes on to describe the answers that Relic and the Speaker have gotten from the pool or spring of knowledge in Oma's realm, and describes that and just says that's all we've got so far. So
for those viewing at home, do you remember what those are?
no, I do not. I would have said them if I remembered them. I tried to write them down, but like brain did not hold them in short-term memory long enough to be able to write them down, and I forgot to go back and watch the VOD.
Oh, no, it's perfectly all right.
Guess who's the note taker coming to the rescue?
There we go. Perfectly all right. Perfectly all right.
Saving Matt, ADHD, brain one note at a time.
All right, what you got?
Where is the heart of the Feywild on the head of its future, through the impossible and between all things under our home? What is the heart of the Feywild, and go full round to find where you began?
Okay.
Is what I have.
No, that's perfect. Perfect. He nods as you say this and says, "Well, I've never been one for riddles myself, but it's interesting. I can help you. I can return your poor friends there and the young boggart, if you'd like. I can return all of you, if you'd like. But I mean, you are in the in-between right now. Here.
Yes.
This is the impossible and the possible.
Maybe we should just bring the boggart with us. Maybe Alma had
Am I the only one who
knowledge.
thinks that's the worst idea I've ever heard?
Alma
whole
had
deal.
knowledge of the future and saw timelines different than we do. Maybe
the whole
he gave us
deal was
the
to get
boggart.
him to the Feywild. The longer we
Okay,
keep him
fine.
out here with,
But then he would have just
humanoids that he
dropped
can
us
eat,
in the
the
Feywild
longer you're
instead
gonna
of
have a
dropping us in the
problem.
middle of nowhere.
Perhaps
He sent us to this realm for a reason, because it's the next step.
Wow.
perhaps I have
Could
something that
come
could help.
back.
Time is written. He was just doing the next thing in the
You won't
book.
take no for an answer. Wow.
Oh,
Speaker,
mean-
be reminded that Oma also tasked us with returning Nicholas to the Feywild.
That's our job.
Perhaps I could
What if he eats
offer
somebody?
a little more assistance. You speak of knowing the future. Would you like to?
is that you can do that?
What?
Well, I can't tell you the future, but there's a flower that grows here in the Ethereal. A very large flower that can show you things. The Chrono Lily.
Interesting.
Wizards come here to try and find them all the time, but bumbling fools that they are, they seldom do. I just happen
That's
to
what
know
the
where one
slave
is.
driver- That's what the slave driver was looking for.
Oh, you've run into one of them then.
I did.
I know where one is. I'd be happy to show you if you prefer, though I should warn you, not everybody likes what they see there.
I suppose any information is good information. I mean, like it or not, whatever, whether good or bad, like, this is the mission, the task that we have accepted, and if a Chrono Lily could give us information about what we seek, then I would be willing to take that risk.
The speaker is definitely intrigued with the idea of a plant that can alter the mind state.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, Another plant that can alter the mind state.
Another plant. In order to find the Chrono Lily, we do have a bit of a journey. And it's not an entirely safe journey. I should warn you. But if you choose to go this route, if this is what you desire, I will help you with this one final task before I must return and go my own way. But before I do so, if you desire, I will return your friends and the young Bogart to the Feywild.
That would be good.
I think that would be the best.
Doesn't that kind of still sound like breach of contract with Oma, though? Like delegating part of the...
Oma merely said that... Oma asked that we see that Nicholas return to the Feywild. If Nicholas makes a safe return to the Feywild where he can thrive amongst his own kind, then we have done our jobs.
All right. Okay, you can beat him at his word games.
All right. So is that the agreement?
Yeah, the speaker will go for that.
All right.
Yeah, so have Nicholas return to the Feywild and then have the poor petrified Jeff and Hyacinth just in the grove.
All right. So he says, one moment. He stands up. He takes the Bogart gently by the hand, and puts a hand on Jeff, and says, I'll be back momentarily. And with that, it's like space wisps and folds around them, and when the mist clears, they're gone, leaving you guys in this large domed room alone for a moment.
He's coming back, right?
Yes. I thought I'd give you guys a second to do anything if you wanted to while he was gone.
Well, Relic's trying not to vomit.
Yeah, still not feeling real well. Speaker's probably in the same boat, although it's a slightly different sensation for a mic in it.
We're kind of used to being a little bit, wobbly with perception,
Yeah, well, this is kind of like it feels like you just stepped out of a cave into a warm, sunny noonday.
Oh, yeah, that's not great, but we have solutions later. That's fine. I don't know. Aren't we strategizing like he comes back?
You guys gonna jump him and take his stuff?
Well, no, he was a very nice Uber for us. And maybe now he's done with that, but we didn't really get a chance to learn his Uber techniques either.
Yeah, well, those are racial skills. You probably won't.
Oh, okay. Darn.
Ghost elves, man, they've lived in the ethereal so long, it's just they've been suffused with his energies and can do shit like that.
Yes. It's one of the really rare racial elven archetypes that for some reason never was really big and never got brought back, which I regret because I love them. They're my favorite elf.
Yeah, I didn't even know about them when
certainly
I was
couldn't
creating a
be.
certain other character of mine, and I'm just like, golly, this concept's already been done before. Jeez.
Why does this guy remind me of somebody? Hmm.
Who's he remind you of?
I feel like I've seen that hair before somewhere. Hmm.
Was it on Kyler at some point?
Probably, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. I feel like he should be wearing a big scarf for some reason, and
Oh, you're thinking about Fade. Yeah, that'd be funny if I brought Fade back. You know, there is an ethereal genocide, too. So, we're going to go ahead and bring him back. So, yeah, he womps back in. Kind of brushes some leaves and grass off his boot.
to help him do this, see the druid craft that I did earlier. So I just got like a slight breeze that could assist him with this process.
Alright. Now, no, I won't say anything. It's all good. It's a transmutation, so yeah, it's no big deal. So, he nods as you do this. He says, okay. Then, I suppose we should plan. If the Chrono Lily is what you seek, there's no time like the present, but I should prepare you for what lies ahead. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
I'm gonna say no, not yet.
Take your time.
I mean, we're not prepared because we haven't planned.
Oh,
That's all I mean.
well, he means, are you ready to plan?
Oh. I thought he was like, all right, we're gonna do that thing that they do in soap operas where they talk and walk.
Kyler's like, nah,
We're gonna
dude.
turn a corner together.
Nah, I'm just gonna stand here. No, I ain't doing it.
I mean, I might not, but we'll see.
So, he says the path to where we must go, like as I've mentioned, is very dangerous. First off, it brings us dangerously close to an ether gap. The things that reside near the ether gap are not only terrible, horrific things. The ether gap itself will, well, it offers a fate worse than death, let's just say. If you get pulled into the ether gap, not even a wish can bring you back. Beyond the ether gap lies the black abyss, a demi-plane of sorts, I suppose. It's been there for a long, long, long time. But inside the demi-plane is a very large cavern that houses a vast obelisk upon which are etched the words time and space. At the foot of the obelisk we will find the lily.
Alright, if we pass this dangerously close to an ether gap, are there any measures that we can do to avoid being swept away in its pulling force?
Avoidance is the easiest method. But I'm afraid the black abyss lies close to the edge of it is the problem. So we have to get somewhat close to it just to get to where we need to go.
Alright, is...
If it's so easy, why don't you do it?
I have no need.
Oh.
Well, do we just... If we're going to be passing dangerously close, is there anything we can do to protect ourselves as we pull this close? Like maybe moving slower, or I don't know. Frankly don't know much about this realm, but surely there must be something.
Well, I've seen the way that a couple of you travel, and it's, well, and I mean this in no way offensively, but it's a lot more like directed falling than actually moving. I suppose learning how to navigate here would help to some degree. Although a lot of that is just experience.
Fair. But you have the experience, though. Would holding on to you help, perhaps? Like, just all of us joining hands and then you leading?
To a point, I suppose. This is a large group for me to be dragging along, though. Especially that close to the gap. It's not without its risk. If you ask this of me, I suppose I owe you for not making it to your friends in time. I will do this, if you ask it of me.
What befell our friends was not all your fault. Just don't... You shouldn't concern yourself with that, but... And she looks to the others and says, I don't know if passing that close to an ether gap is worth the risk. If I would not want any of you to befall to the ether gap, but certainly if we lost, and she like does a quick glance down at her pack and then up, and she was just, it would be the end of all of our journey here. I don't know what would happen then.
Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained, I suppose.
True, I'm concerned. I'm concerned for multiple reasons.
I understand.
Why don't we just send one person then instead of all of us to get the lily and then come back?
Oh, we won't be plucking the lily. These are extremely rare.
What are we doing then? Sorry.
No, you must forgive me. I forget that you may not be experienced in such things. The Chrono Lily is a very large flower, and the petals form a bowl.
Oh.
Within the bowl is a golden nectar that collects there. And by gazing into the nectar, you may see the past, the present, or the future. Various times, various places. It depends. The images shift seemingly at random, but if you know how to manipulate the petals, you can maintain some form of control.
Okay. These two are still sick, so they should stay.
But you're just a moment away from being sick.
Why?
I just need a long rest, and then I'm sick.
Why am I... Wait. Why am I a moment away from being sick? I made my save.
Wait.
Why am I a moment away from being sick? I made my save. What are you talking about?
I got nervous there.
There's going to be another one.
Anyway. Sib has the diadem. Sib needs to keep the diadem safe. We need Sib to complete the mission. The only person here that could go with a reasonable level of risk is me. Right?
What is this diadem you speak of?
Oh.
Sib is going to take her 2 fingers and just rub her middle and index fingers of both hands and rub her temple.
That's
Temples.
a thing.
Relic just had a little light bulb moment. After remembering about the whole you don't need to eat, you just have to imagine that you're full. He's going to try and imagine not feeling sick.
The big brain.
Give me an
Big
intelligence
brain
save.
moves. That's
I'm going to warn
smart.
you.
Oh my goodness.
This is a bit of a high DC, but I'm going to give you a chance.
That's so smart. Can I touch him and help him?
Oh.
You did it by yourself. That's so good.
So,
that's epic.
yeah, Relics, you have your big brain moment. You sit down, your tongue sticking out, eyes clenched, just focused, and you're like, I am well, I am well, I am well. And when you open your eyes, you actually are, much to your own surprise.
Hey.
Nice.
This guy willed himself sober.
Nice.
Okay.
We've
I've
all
got
had
this
those
place
moments.
totally figured out this place. Yes.
So yes, Relic is feeling pretty good about himself right now.
Good job. Good job.
So he asks you if there's anything you would need to do to repair if you actually do want to split up. He does warn that. Well, here, if you'd like to split up your team, that's fine. You may rest here as long as you need to. This is not my home anyway. I found it. I may have made some adjustments. But I should warn you that here, things are not always what they seem. And sometimes trips like this can be one-way ordeals.
What do you think, Sib? Is this a good plan? Or no?
I think we should stay together. But that's just me.
Sticking together would appear to be the safest option. I rather worry about that ether gap. And she's rubbing her temple still.
What happened to you?
What happened to me?
Yeah, what's with the woo-saw? What's going on, dude?
Nothing's going on. I just worry about losing the diadem of the 7 stars. We were given a task from the 1,000-horned deer primordial, who holds the fabric of the Feywild together to place this on the heart of the Feywild, and I would rather not fail in that task, especially with Baba Yaga's return in the Feywild.
Relic's watching Sturigoth for any reaction that he has to all of that.
He's definitely interested in what you're saying. He's watching, but he's hard to read because of the eyes. Like, he's fairly stoic. The only real emotion you get is like the ones that he's expressed very strongly. Other than that, he's fairly Spartan with his facial features.
I would just rather not fail in the task that we agreed to do of a primordial. There's a lot strange things going on in the Feywild right now, and put it on myself to figure out what the nine hells is going on, and I keep pressing backspace on accident. I really need to, like, change my mouse settings. Holy shit.
You're good.
Or put my push to talk back on caps lock, but anyways.
So
God, what was I even saying? Fuck.
oh, it's alright. That's actually pretty much in character. I think Lady Sib was having a moment of frustration with everything that's been laid kind of at all of your feet, with all of this unexpectedly. None of you intended to be here. None of you intended to be chosen for this. And you were a ragtag little band of, misfits and miscreants for the most part. And suddenly you have the weight of the, world, quote unquote, on your shoulders, literally. You're inexperienced. You've been thrust into the ethereal plane. You've been to Tir Nanog. You've met with gods and primordials. Like, this is pretty intense. So your frustration is merited, all of you. Kyler has gone through probably the worst of it, honestly, with the whole self discovery. Yeah. So yeah, all of this frustration is entirely merited. Of course, your host Stiragoth, he's watching, interested and attentively, but he's not interrupting. You can tell he's intentionally just kind of stepping back and letting you guys talk out. He's made his offer. He doesn't want to confuse the matter. He wants you to make your own choice.
But in all this, I'd rather not take any undue risk, because if we fail and we get sucked into the ether gap, we may lose a diadem. Well, we will lose a diadem, and then then what? The entire Feywild could collapse, and we chose to take on this task. I want to see it to completion.
So
I may be a creature of chaos, but I'm not naive.
So, as you are talking about this, Stiragoth actually gently steps forward and says, I have to say that it's very rare that I see such nobility in your kind, if you'll forgive my assumptions. I've warned you of the gap, and your concern is not that it will ultimately destroy you. Your concern is for your home.
It is indeed, and I am one of the Spring Court nobles, and while my kind are more creatures of jester and myrrh, and that is my birthright. However, if you're not willing to go out of your way to protect something, then do you really have any right to it?
And are you all of a similar mind?
This lot has agreed to help me, though, but for their own reasons that they've tagged along is entirely theirs, and I can't answer that for them.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here if we weren't, obviously.
Well, Your noble intentions have moved me. I feel as though you've lost a good bit already. Not only of yourselves, but your friends as well. I give you my vow, upon the heart of my own people. You will make it to the Black Abyss in my care. I think... No, I know. I can do this. I will give you some time to prepare. I must say my goodbyes. Should I not return, I will return as quickly as I can. You are welcome to my home. I'm sure any needs you have can be met here. I will return in what your kind would consider 1 day's time. Be prepared. We have a hard journey ahead. See you soon. And he steps backward and kind of vanishes into the mist.
Hmm. Oh, well.
Well, caring about something does have its merits.
True. Well, seeing as how we're here, I'm gonna have a look around.
Okay. You looking for anything in particular?
No, just being nosy.
Okay.
I guess I'll go with him. I don't know.
Okay. So as I mentioned, it's a large tower on the outside. If you do step through the door again, you'll end up out on that balcony again. Once again, looking back into the tower as you were. The inside is, like I said, it's one very large room. It's probably a good 70 feet in diameter, round. It's domed, like I said, with the stained glass and silver filigree all the way across the top. The large fountain with the elven woman on the center, and soft textured marble lines the floors and the fountain itself. Closer inspection, it's not actually water pouring out of the fountain, but rather a heavy mist that looks liquid in its movement. With a little finagling, you guys can pretty much figure out how to do the trick that he was doing, making things come up out of the floor, that type of thing. So if you need a piece of furniture or anything like that, you can pretty much manifest it out of the proto-matter that the place is built out of. Anything simple.
Yeah, I think Sib would try that herself and just manifest like a pile of large pillows and just like splay out.
Okay. And get some rest.
Yeah, like actual rest and just like mental rest. Like she'll just fly back and go like, as she gives herself time to think, meditate.
Okay.
Can I try to
Reflect.
manifest a wardrobe?
Like an actual armoire type wardrobe?
Yes.
Or are you talking about like, a bunch of clothes? Like Welcome to D&D Cribs. This is my crib. Check out my wardrobe. No, like that type of thing. Or it's Kyler, so I gotta ask.
The clothes one, yes. Even something as simple as like a chest, like with some clothes in it.
Any simple item, like if it has a hinge, that'll be a little difficult. Like the actual square shape of one with an open door, you could do.
You know what? Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I start rummaging around in my backpack.
Okay. Well, I will say you guys do have a full 24 hours. So anything you guys want to do within that 24 hours, do it now. You're all welcome to take a long rest if you need it. This will clear up your ether sickness. Speaker.
Yep. The meld at long rest was going to do that anyway, I think.
Yeah. This will also refresh the meld for all of you guys. Do keep in mind. The speaker's still attenuating that, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
So
know
you
if you
get a
can see
fresh inspiration.
I don't know if you can see the new Hero Forge image that I have now.
Did you just update your character sheet?
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't fit the art, but it is important because I'm about to change his clothes. When
Okay.
I changed his face before.
All right, but you did. Let me see if it'll pull the new one. No. All right. So we need to update your token.
Okay. Because I'm gonna try to get this done quickly.
Let me
I don't
see.
want him wearing the same like druid stuff.
Okay, I see it. I see it. Yeah, the token art will take a little bit. Is that the image you want? The one that's on your profile? Because I can do that really quickly.
Actually, if you could hang on just a second, I'll have it recolored.
Okay, there's no rush. Okay. Because I mainly just have this up so people watching can see you guys. For those of you who are watching, in case you aren't familiar, this is From Left to Right, Lady Sibylla, Relic, the Speaker, and Kyler. For now, Kyler was, of course, a changeling. That will change. No pun intended. So while Kyler is doing this and the Speaker is refreshing your mind meld or whatever we want to call that, Relic, are you doing any tinkering or anything, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've finally got enough material to make that little steel defender I've been working on.
Oh, excellent. Now you're not using proto matter for any of this, are you?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say you're gonna learn a hard lesson when you get back to where you're going. Proto matter doesn't last outside the ethereal. So you've got enough to create your steel defender.
Yeah.
What's the time frame that it takes to build it? Will you have enough time?
I mean, I leveled up.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually say anything about time. It just, you've created a steel defender, so I imagine
Okay.
I can do it within a day.
I'll let that slide, of course. It's no worries. So, and you don't have
Maybe
to
it's
answer.
something that Relic has been working on like ever since the beginning of the adventure, and he's just now completing it.
Yeah, no, that
And
makes
the level
sense.
up.
That makes sense. So Relic, what I want you to do, and you don't have to come up with it right away, because I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest complaints with the Artificer is the Steel Defender is a metal dog.
Yeah. Well, it's more like it looks more like a steel drake because it makes it look a bit more dragon-like. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, my biggest complaint is that it's a generic. This is your Steel Defender. I want you to come up with something unique for Relic.
Okay.
Just it'll work the same. Its stats will be the same, but just for the sake of flavor, what would Relic build?
Like, well, he's a kobold. He's got like a dragon fetish. It will look like a drake that spits acid. And its name will be Metallic.
Nice. Very nice. Metallic A. Next one will be Metallic B.
Metallic Alpha, yeah.
Metallica. Okay, so so you manage you guys hear a little Relic over in the corner and suddenly go Eureka! And you see this metallic drake start shaking its head and moving around as if it's completely animated of its own volition. He's very excited.
Oh yeah, he's very excited.
And your size is small, correct?
Yep, that's right. I can ride this thing.
Okay, that's kind of what I thought. So yeah, it looks very draconic. And of course, feel free to go nuts with flavor, color, lights, whatever you want. I don't care about that. I want you to be creative. I prefer it.
All right.
And Lady Seb, are you doing any preparatory work?
Mostly for her, just resting, reflecting, of course thinking about eating as needed, so, she's not
Oh, yeah.
hungry or anything, though I guess in her sort of, reflection and thinking, she is going to consider the diadem a bit, because I don't think she's really, taken a good look at it or figured out how it's supposed to work, what sort of power that it can bestow. She's felt it the power surge through her, but she doesn't know a whole lot about this thing other than the history that she found back in Astrazalia, and just how it felt whenever she holds it. So I guess she's going to sort of look at it more by the handle and just sort of, yeah.
Okay. And that's
see if she can figure this thing out a little more.
I was actually going to say that's fine. This is actually one of the first times that any of you have actually given it any real careful consideration. Everyone's been a little scared of it, and understandably, based upon the reactions that you get from other creatures and the way it reacted to being touched. So that's perfectly understandable. So you take it out by its handle. You notice that there's a light that shimmers off of it here in the ethereal plane. Like an aura, a hazy aura. You can almost feel the power that emanates from it. A little stronger here, in fact. Tell me what exactly you're doing. Are you just looking at it and thinking, or?
Looking at it, thinking, I don't really have any sort of spell-like abilities on me to figure out what it does necessarily, but I still want to try and figure out as much as I can about it.
Okay. So, do you speak Primordial?
I've got comprehend languages.
That's right,
Still.
you do.
All languages.
So there is an inscription on the inside of the band.
Am I nearby?
Well, no, you're kind of off doing their armoire thing. This is all happening simultaneously.
Okay, because I don't really need the armor. I was digging around in my pack. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So you can actually read the inscription. It is in the Primordial Tongue. It's a very simple phrase. And it just says, within this circle, all are one.
Mm.
So just going to kind of tilt her head in the ethereal pillows she made herself. And just sort of lower her eyes, poke her lips out, just kind of go, suppose that makes sense, as she considers it, turns it a little more, just, yeah. Anything I can tell about the magical aura that's radiating off of it here, now stronger?
Not really. It's not so much that it's stronger. I think it's just that it's more visible here.
Right, but like, can I tell anything about that? Damn it! Come on, backspace again. I need to do something about this mouse.
All good.
Anything I can tell about the aura, like in general, like can I kind of tell the vibes that I like? What sort of magic this is?
Do you have any abilities that would let you do that? Like identify or even detect magic or?
I don't. That's what I was saying earlier, but like as much as I can do, I want to try.
I'll give you a really low chance of an Arcana check. How about that?
Okay.
Just to be fair.
Alright. And if I don't make it, she'll probably, like, call Relic over to see if he can make heads or tails of it.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, not
Probably
quite enough.
not.
It's definitely magic.
Yep. Hey, Relic.
Yep.
You know, we've been given this diadem, and none of us have ever really sat down to figure out, like, what it is or does, really. Would you like to come take a crack at it?
I mean, you know, identify only works. Like, if I'm touching it, and if I'm touching that thing, bad things happen.
Yeah.
But
Pentel put a handle on it.
I mean, I could give it a go, maybe.
Yeah,
Who's Patel?
try. I'm a little curious.
Yeah, Patel stayed
Okay.
behind in Oberon's court.
I thought it was Pantel. Sorry.
Oh, was it?
And I'm done.
No, you could.
Pentel.
It should be in there.
Pentel, yeah. You're right.
You can't see it?
Pentel. Oh, did you update the token?
Yes.
Okay, no, that's just the portrait. Yeah,
Yeah, we
Oh, okay.
only
No, I
GMs
don't
have
know
the
how to do
ability to update the token.
Yeah. Send me the link in Discord to the updated one you want to use. I'll make a token real quick of it.
it.
All right. Yeah, you two go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, did you just want auras, or do you want actual information? Because I can check the auras.
Actual
safely.
information, because we know its name, we know its history, not quite what it does.
Well, okay. So I could do this. I'll tell you what. Okay. Relic's gonna do this like what he considers the safer option. If he casts it as a ritual, it'll take 11 minutes. If he just casts it as a spell slot, it'll take 1 minute. So 1 minute of holding it, it's probably safer than 10 or 11 minutes of holding it. So
I assume this is before a long rest, so
yeah. So I'll
Yeah.
I'll use the spell slot.
All right. So you're using a spell slot to cast Identify specifically.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are going to touch the diadem to do this.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay. Love it. Love it.
If Sib happens to want to like hold me by the shoulder or whatever, just to stop me from vibrating off the walls, that would be good too.
She'll probably do that because she like I mean, she was the first person to ever hold this thing. She knows what magic's in there.
This is gonna be awesome. All right, so first thing, are you just grabbing it outright?
Well,
I mean, Sib will like offer you the handle to the diadem. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll tentatively try for the handle.
Okay, so you grab the handle.
That was a good idea from Pantel.
It was. It was. He is missed. So here, let me pull this up real quick. I want to get the specs. Unless, do you have identify on your sheet? You can post it.
I do have it on my sheet. Hold on.
Yeah, click it. Put it into chat there for me. And Kyler, your image has been updated there.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Happy
Looks
to.
so cool.
Happy to oblige. Alright, yeah, so, yeah, okay. Alright, so you have to touch this thing for 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
The handle's not going to do it. You have to touch the diadem.
Wonderful.
For 1 minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I see this? We're watching, like...
I think at this point it'd be hard to miss.
Cool.
I mean, Sib and Relic are talking out loud to each other. They're not necessarily hiding anything.
Yeah, it'd be hard to miss at this point. So, are you going to attempt this?
Walk over.
Yeah.
Alright.
Just.
So, this is
I'll
going to
just
be...
And
ask
Sib
everyone else.
will indeed
Oh.
hold on to his shoulders.
I'll ask everyone to come over and hold on to me, kind of thing. So apparently, when we were all holding it, it wasn't quite as bad as when it was just one person. So I'm like, yeah, I might need some help with this.
So you're asking everyone to hold you or hold the diadem?
Hold me.
Hold me.
Like, yeah. just hold on to me, guys.
Alright. So, is everyone grabbing hold of little Relic there?
Yep.
I mean, everyone is basically me now.
Well, and Kyler. And Kyler.
And Kyler.
We're grabbing a hold of him, not the diadem.
Yeah, we kind of just want to see what happens.
Alright. So it sounds like the speaker's on board.
I mean, I already said that Sib was grabbing his shoulders, so just to
Sus.
hold him.
No. No.
No,
Let's
not-
be over here.
Not doing it? Okay.
Nah.
Alright, so Kyler declines. Are you still grabbing it?
Yeah.
Alright. Give me a con save, please.
Oh, yay. Okay. This went well last time. Oh.
Yay!
Alright, so you grab a hold of it and you're immediately just pulsed with raw, unbridled power, the likes of which you haven't felt before. Like, even more so than the last time you touched it. Right? So you're grabbing hold, and that Constitution save was your concentration check. You have made it through the first 10 seconds of casting
Oh,
your
boy.
spell. So we're going to do this 6 times.
Oh, boy.
Alright, the Lady Sib and the speaker, you guys can feel the energy pulsing through him into you. You can feel it. It's painful, but not so much yet that you're struggling to hold on. It's getting there. It's escalating.
She's done this song and dance, so.
Kyler, you can see the strain. Are you
See
still...
the what?
You can see the strain that this is putting on them physically. Are you still holding back?
Yeah, I remember touching that, and I was like, not fun. No.
Okay. I'm gonna keep going. If you decide you want to step in, let me know. You don't have to. Up to you. That way I don't have to ask every round. Alright, so we're going to go for the second 10 seconds. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Con save. Boom.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow. Nat 1.
Wait a
use-
minute.
I'm going to use my inspiration. I'll try again.
Alright, go for it.
Question 2, like, would he get advantage since, like, Sib and the speaker are effectively, like, holding him to help him, like, stay more stable and maintain his concentration?
Fortunately for the magnitude of this, no.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, he's
I'd
little,
ask.
so we
Oh.
can just kind of hold him.
You're,
right?
you're keeping him from flying backwards, well, I'll say that.
Well,
But yeah,
we
there's...
also can, like, probably hold him suspended so he doesn't have to worry about like supporting his own body weight or
Well, I don't know.
whatever shit.
That might be offensive for someone his size.
Well,
Let me just
Yeah,
pick
anyways,
you up
about
there, little guy.
we can apologize later.
So, 22 for your inspired roll.
Uh-huh.
You start kind of cringing and giving into the pain, and then just you pull from your toes, and you're like, no! Rah! And you make it through the next 10 seconds, casting your spell. It's becoming painful. I want you to take a point of damage.
Okay.
You can feel it searing your hands.
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
All right.
Okay.
The two of you holding him, by the way, it's escalating still. It's starting. The pain is increasing. So next 10 seconds.
Here we go.
You've got that 1 in 400. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Another one.
Another nut one.
So
Right.
that's all right. That's all right. So I want you to take 2 points of damage.
Yep.
Sib and Speaker take 1 point as it just arcs. Like you see magical energies arc off this thing and just whip around and smack each of you just briefly. Pow pow pow! Relic lets go, flies backwards into you guys, and falls down, gripping his hands, kind of rocking back and forth. You can see like smoke actually rising off of his palms, and as from where they're singed, you can smell the burnt scale.
Ow, ow. Ow, ow. That hurt. Ouch.
The diadem is laying on the ground.
Whew. You okay there, Relic?
Can I pick it up by the handle and put it back in Sib's bag?
Yeah. No problem at all.
Did we learn anything in the 21 and a half seconds that the spell was going for?
Unfortunately, no. It takes a full minute to cast the spell.
That's unfortunate.
So his spell was actually interrupted and lost. You're welcome to try again.
No.
Let's just say that we know what it is. It's the diadem of the 7 stars.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that from the library.
Right. So why do we need to identify?
Well,
we're
identify
trying to-
tells you what it does.
Oh.
Yeah, Sib was curious.
Yeah, identify will actually open up a lot more information if you can pull it off, but obviously there's a pretty extreme challenge there.
Mm-hmm.
Because that DC was rising with every turn, and all of you were going to start taking more and more damage every turn, too. So
Yep. I figured.
it was a very good attempt, though. It was a very, very good attempt. Yeah, that was fun.
Was I supposed to grab that? Because I feel like I wasn't.
Grab what?
Was I supposed to like jump into the circle of whatever that was?
That is entirely up to Kyler.
Yeah, like, you were required to do anything.
Yeah, you're only required to do what Kyler would do, so Yeah. If you
Yeah,
feel
no.
if you feel like obligated as a character as Kyler, then I mean that's an internal struggle.
Nah. Nah.
Yeah, Sib felt compelled to do it because she's the one who asked.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Plus, anything to help. Plus, this would her helping Relic would help her like complete her personal goal of like learning about this item. So, like, yeah, she'd be helping Relic, but
and it's not a bad
Okay.
thing. It's definitely not a bad thing at all.
So, I mean, my next thing is obviously identify as a no-go. However, cast to detect magic, I can at least see what auras are on it. What magical auras are kind of like making it work.
hmm So schools of magic, you want to try to determine.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna cast it? You gotta pull it back out of the pack.
I'm gonna ritually cast to detect magic, so that'll take the 10 minutes or so,
Okay.
and then I'll pull it out of the pack by the handle as
Okay.
careful as possible, and just give it a once over. Probably blinding me in the process, but hey.
It is very bright, and to your surprise, something you've never seen before in your life. This thing is giving off an incandescent, multi-hued aura shuffling through every school of magic there is.
Wow. Yeah, okay. Oh, look, necromancy. Oh, look, enchantment. Oh, look, abjuration. Oh, look. Yeah, okay, yeah, all of them are on this. Yeah, cool.
fascinating. You knew this thing was powerful, but wow. At some point, I would like to figure out what this thing does, but I think that's a task for another day.
Yeah, I would say you can
Mm.
also see everybody's individual magic items glowing right now too. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so you get your schools off. So, is anyone else wanting to do anything with this day of downtime you've been given?
That's
Well,
everything that Sib wanted to do, so
yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, now that the Drake's all done and the diadem's slapped Relic around a bit, Relic's probably just gonna go and lie down and
Get your long rest in.
It's rest time.
yeah,
Yep.
just go chill out now. That was rough.
No, that's fair. And Kyler, what did you have something you wanted to do?
I did, but my the PDF that I'm using is down, so
For
I can't see my class ability for the new class that I just took.
oh
Fun.
for okay, I won't say it out loud because I know you like to maintain some degree of secrecy.
So I will instead expend a use of my wild shape to summon fire thingy that I can do.
Fire thingy.
Okay,
Fire.
we need to be a bit more precise. Let me try to find it here if this will work.
I mean, I have your PDF. Do you mean to send you the link?
I have the link. It's just not working.
Oh, I have it here. I just pulled it up. Here, I tell you, I can copy paste it to you, and if that's what you want to use, I'll just copy paste it to you.
I'll just do the wild shape thing. It should be easier.
Oh, okay.
The circle wildfire druid thing can change wild shape into a fire elemental thing.
Yeah, your little torchlight or whatever it is. Okay. Kyler's playing with fire.
Yeah.
Alright, so you summon your little fire buddy. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to do?
We just have a little chat.
About anything in particular?
Nah, Not really. I mean, I'm just
Just
doing stuff.
okay. Okay.
I see it. I try to like do the shape shifting thing into something similar, and just like, oh, okay, no, can't do that one.
Yeah, that one's a little tougher.
Nope. Okay, no. High five.
High five. All right. So, are you gonna take a long rest as well?
Yes.
All right. So everybody kind of goes down for a rest. Let's say. Um, which is fine. Um, everybody give me a quick perception, please.
Is this before or after the rest?
After.
Oh, wow.
And don't let's see 23 21 20 9. Okay, so Lady Sib and Relic, you're kind of awakened, not awakened, but brought about to bear out of your rest by a very faint noise over by the fountain. Looking up, you see your host looking up at the statue, quietly, kneeling next to it, unaware that he's being watched. He gently puts his fingers to his lips, kisses them, and then raises them up to the statue, and then puts his hand over his heart and bows his head. You can see him mumbling something under his breath. And then he stands up and begins to walk over to where you guys are.
Sib is going to close her eyes and do like a big stretch of her arms above her head. She's going to pretend like she's just waking up because she knows that things like that can be personal, so she doesn't want to give the impression that she just saw what happened there.
Doesn't want to make it uncomfortable.
Right, yeah, pretty much.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so he goes through one by one, very gently, touching you on the shoulder, rousting you. Kind of getting you guys up and ready. Once he's got you guys kind of rousted, he stands amongst you and says, "Well, are you prepared?"
As prepared as I'll ever be, yes. At this point, may I suggest we take our union break?
Yes, you may. Unless there are any objections.
Oh.
All right. In that case, we are going to take a very quick break. And we'll be right back after this word from our sponsors. And we're back. Yeah, I should have known better. Master Miss is like always here. Master Miss never leaves. Except that one time.
Except when I do.
Except that one time, yeah. Alright, so we are back. And where we left off, honestly, I think was literally like him saying, "Are you ready?"
Pretty much.
Alright.
Yes.
So, here we go. He once again tells you to make sure, is there anything you need to do before he takes you on this journey.
Eat for the last time, probably.
Do you want to actually eat or just pretend to eat?
Pretend.
Wouldn't it be nice? Nom nom nom.
Yeah, Sib will eat in air quotes and then just think of her two sisters, send a little love out to them.
Okay. Excellent. So he takes you guys out onto the balcony, holds out a hand on either side for you guys to grasp hold of.
Yep, I grab his hand.
All right.
Yep.
For sake of, let's say, marching order, which hand are you grabbing, Sib?
His left one.
So you're on his
Right.
left. All right. You're grabbing right, Kyler.
Yes.
All right, and speaker and relic. Or you want to
I'll
grab Kyler or Sib's hand, or you want to also grab his hand? It's up to you.
I'll go with grabbing Sibs.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab his shoulders.
Okay. I'm sure he's really comfortable with that.
I'm sure he is.
All right, so everybody grabs
Okay.
a hold. What's that?
Just like one of them.
Just one of them. That's better.
Just one of the shoulders, like off to the side.
So you immediately feel that sense of moving without moving. You can once again see the mists swirl and whip around you, and every now and then out of the periphery of your vision you see sights that are familiar and sights that are wondrous and sights that are terrifying just out of the periphery flashing by you quickly as he navigates through the ethereal plane, you guys in tow. He's totally focused, dead ahead, arms out, holding you guys behind him, flying through the air, weaving in and out of what you assume are obstacles. Just so you know, travel here in the border ethereal is about the same pace, technically, distance-wise, as it is on the prime material. Okay? So you're actually going through realms, passing over worlds, through places, real places, more or less. So you actually see, like, you dive through buildings and castles and caves and hillsides and tunnels and over hills and through trees, but it's all really brief and shadowed as you go through. The incandescent, iridescent mists parting, the gray makes way and wisps around you as you move. It's a little bit exhilarating on some level. This travel goes on for some time. You can feel the passage of time in yourselves, kind of your own circadian rhythms, let's just say. Until eventually, after what seems like hours pass, he settles down on one of those free-floating masses of protomatter, gently, and releases you guys, and kind of steps forward, shaking his arms and legs out a little bit. He says, catch your breath.
Alrighty.
Does anyone need anything? Food or water? There's a stash here.
I should be fine.
He stretches out. If you're good to carry on, then, shall we? He puts his hands out again.
I take a deep breath inward and then to like shake my head a little bit, then grab hold of the same hand as I did before.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming everyone does the same. He launches back into movement again. Once again, whisking through this nether reality that you're now in. Twisting and turning. This once again goes on for a number of hours. In the distance, fast approaching, you see, ironically, what appears to be a tavern floating in the mist. It seems like that's where he's headed.
Sounds good.
So he barrels right in and gently lights down on a deck out in front of this little stone tavern with a thatched roof. There's a sign swinging gently above the door. It just says, "The Gray."
Mm-hmm.
And he opens the door and gentlemanly nods his head and ushers you to step inside.
I step inside then.
All right. Everybody? Or should I say anyone not going in? How about that? No, okay. So you step inside what appears to be a standard stone and wood tavern. There's a large hearth and fire actually burning, a large bar, a couple tables and benches, a deep, thick shag animal skin rug on the floor, and a set of stairs that lead up to a balcony, where you see 4 doors, most likely rooms. He strides up to a tiefling behind the bar that he seems to be familiar with, and passes a small handful of coin over to, and comes and sits down and motions you to come sit with him.
I walk up, sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you ever had an abyssal pepper?
I can't say that I have, no.
Well, outside of this place, don't. They're actually tolerable to most mortal tongues here. But I've ordered us a round of drinks and some food. If it's all right with you, we'll rest here for the night and carry on in the morning. I'm exhausted.
That's quite all right with me.
You can tell he's kind of struggling to use terminology as far as time is concerned, so that you'll understand what he's talking about. But yeah, he's catching his breath and kind of being quiet and letting you guys take in your surroundings. Besides the tiefling running the place, there is a woman over by the hearth who kind of occasionally looks over her shoulder at you guys. And that's about it. There's no one else here.
What does a woman look like?
Human. Very, very pretty. Long black hair. Green eyes.
All right. Sid just kind of leaves her be.
Okay.
Well, surely Kyler's gonna go introduce himself.
Kyler's being real quiet. Which is fine. So the tiefling brings over a tray and dishes out a bowl of some sort of stew in front of each of you, including you, speaker.
Is this the ghost pepper stew?
This is the abyssal pepper stew. Yeah.
Abyssal pepper stew.
Yeah. I'm not sure that you could actually eat it, but I guess it's the thought that counts.
You know,
You could probably absorb some of it. It's stew.
yeah, I could probably just like dunk my hand in it or something and then absorb stuff. I guess. So, I guess. It's not very great table manners, but
That's fine.
we'll just kind of like dip a finger into the stew.
No problem. So, ironically, the stew, for those of you who do eat it, is delicious. It's a flavor that you've never experienced before. I would try to describe it, but this is not unlike trying to describe a color that you've never seen before. This is something entirely unique. It melts on your tongue in just a certain way. There's a texture that's like if you were able to lick a flame and yet not be burned. There's this certain char to it, this little bit of oomph, but not enough here, at least, to burn. It's delicious.
Sib is thoroughly enjoying this.
New experience.
Yeah.
New experience.
Can
Yeah.
can we get a ghost pepper or an abyssal pepper for the road?
They'll give you one if you like.
I would, yeah, we would like to have an abyssal pepper
Okay.
for the road.
Sure. Sure. She'll bring you one.
That's not like a stew or anything. I just want
Yeah.
the pepper.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, that's no problem.
Thank you.
Stiragoth will devour his own stew hungrily.
We found another amazing plant that shows you colors that don't exist.
Yes, Kyler, you can have one as well. Just write them down on your inventory there. Abyssal pepper. So, oh Lord. Megorlima Nugglesprout. Megorlima Nugglesprout. My Lord. And a Bruheim.
Come on, June.
Oh my Lord. Okay, so
We can just go with Meg here. Let's just go with Meg.
yeah. Oh Lord. Megorlima Nugglesprout. I'm trying to get that in my head so I can actually say it. And Master Miss redeeming the name Bruheim.
Well, that's the name of the tavern we're in, right?
No, it's the Gray.
The Gray is the name of the
Gray.
tavern.
Oh,
Okay.
Could be the name of a specialty mead.
Yeah, we'll do that. So, yeah, you get a round of Bruheims, which is it's actually once again the abyssal pepper's been fermented and then flavored with honey. So you guys get a round of Bruheims. I'm gonna have to write that down now. And your hostess, Megarolima Nugglesprout, brings you your peppers, your Bruheims, and takes away your empty bowls, and says, "Oh, yeah. Anything else I can get for you, Governor?" Because Megarolima has a cheesy British accent.
Uh-huh.
Good gracious.
No comment.
I figured you would appreciate that if anyone would.
Whoa, if it ain't my old mate Murray Poppins.
With the last name of Nugglesprout, it had to be cheesy. So, does anyone want anything else after your round of Bruheims?
Nope.
No, Sib's good.
All right. So, of course, Sturgoth, he drains his, and puts the ale down and wipes his mouth. Says, "Well, I've gotten us the 4 rooms upstairs for the night. One for each of you. I'm going to stay down here for the evening, and we can pick back up in the morning." He slides each of you a little sachet of some type of herb. He says, "Take this before you go to bed."
Will do. Are you okay with staying down here for the night?
Well, I don't mean to alarm you, but do you see the woman by the fire?
Indeed.
That's Neffy. I know she may not look like it, but Neffy's a night hag. You don't want to have any dreams with her around.
Sib just nods solemnly because she knows hags.
Oh yeah.
She knows hags too well. So yeah, she understands.
Yeah, so that's what the sachets are for. To keep you from dreaming.
And we just sit them by our heads essentially. Can't talk.
Yes.
All right.
So you guys go upstairs to get some rest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Put the sachet in my pillow so I can be smelling it, and yeah.
All right. Kyler, what about you? You've been very quiet. Same, okay. So Kyler goes up as well. So yeah, you guys each have a room to yourself. I assume everyone uses the sachets, unless anyone opts not to.
No, I'll use it.
Okay. He stays downstairs and just trances for a few hours and kind of keeps an eye on Neffy. Morning comes uneventfully, thankfully. He's still downstairs. Neffy is gone. You can keep it with you. It's fine. It'll last for, well, indefinitely here in the Ethereal. Once you get it into a realm where things actually rot, it'll last for about a week. He lets you guys kind of get some breakfast. Omelets flavored with abyssal peppers. you noticing a trend here.
Yeah.
You guys can have another round of Brewheims if you want. But yeah, he lets you guys have your breakfast and then steps outside and waits for you guys to be ready.
All right. I will join him when I'm ready.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'll just say that, does anybody have anything they want to do beforehand?
Not here, no.
Okay. All right. So he takes your hands again, and I'm just going to assume we're using the same.
Marching order.
Yeah. All right. So he takes off. Boom. Moving once again, the same as before, winding in and out, over, through, under. You guys actually notice that he's taking you through a number of what look like solid objects from time to time. It's a little unnerving the first few times. You're like, okay, we're good. No, we're good. Yeah. Takes a little getting used to, and he's moving pretty quickly. About halfway through the day, quote unquote, he says, "There it is, up ahead. Can you see it?" And as you peer ahead, you see something terrifying. What you see is, it looks literally like a rip in reality, or the reality of the ethereal plane ahead. This swirling mass of mist that just spirals down into this central point of the blackest umbral black you can imagine. It is not a color, it is not the absence of color, it is the absence of reality. You just see this maelstrom spinning, and he arcs you up and begins to go over it. He says, "Hang on really tightly."
Sib hangs on for dear life and thinks of her two sisters.
Yeah.
Kyler smiles for the first time in a long time. So he's arcing over at a good 45-degree angle, making his way over. Nothing too bad, nothing too crazy. What is that? Ah, the void, beautiful. Kyler says. When suddenly he is struck with magic missiles.
Oh no.
He gets hit with about 5 of them. You see them just plunge right into him. Dum 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 dum. And he kind of lurches around with each one of them. Those of you hanging on directly to him, give me a strength save, please.
All right. Ooh.
Okay.
Reminder that this is with the +1.
Okay. Okay.
Can I use that inspiration from the speaker?
Yeah, you both can if you want.
Oof.
Whew.
Alright. So, okay, Kyler with the luck point. Speaker, do you want to use your inspiration or take it as it is?
I'm gonna take it. The day's not over yet.
All right. You lose your grip.
Oh no! Oh no!
So yeah, as he lurches, you lose your grip. Oh boy. So he's gonna make a maneuver here.
Can I
So
wait?
well, he's already in motion.
Oh, okay.
So he kind of rolls through the air. And Sib, he tucks you under his left arm, the one that's holding on to Kyler, and rolls over and attempts to catch the speaker with his right hand. An amazing feat of strength and dexterity. So let's give this a whirl. Speaker, make a dex save. He's narrowly missing you, but I'm gonna give you a chance to reach out and catch his hand.
Okay.
There you go.
Hey.
Hey.
So as you're barreling over this horrific, terrifying ether gap, you lose your grip. Begin to tumble down towards this thing. He barrel rolls over, grabs Lady Sib under his left arm, reaches down, almost misses you, and in the nick of time you reach up with one of your spindly arms and grab hold of his hand.
Where's Relic?
Relic is holding on to Lady Sib.
Yeah.
Which I actually probably should make you do a strength save too, just to be fair. I know you're being quiet on purpose.
Me?
I'm not
No.
here. I'm not here. Okay, yeah, you managed to hold on. I assume your defender's in backpack mode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now he's basically upside down, still barreling over this thing. As you guys look behind you, you see Nephi chasing you through the Ethereal, hungrily licking her lips. She's no longer the beautiful woman you saw in the tavern, but she is barreling right on your heels. And since he's taken his maneuver to defend, she's gonna take another attack. We'll just go with the magic missiles again. So another 5 missiles strike. Dum 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 dum, and you just see him like lurch again as they barrel into him. What's that?
Can we deflect any of those?
Oh, these are magic missiles.
They're projectiles.
But
Yeah,
a little different.
Okay.
Magic missiles always hit.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
unless you have the shield spell.
unless you have the shield spell. This is correct.
Well, I have a staff that does that, but I never attuned to it because I don't know how to do that.
I thought we already attuned you to it.
Did we do that?
I would assume so, unless you just didn't want to.
I suppose I would have wanted to.
Okay.
It makes sense to be able to use the attunement required charges on it.
Okay. That's fine. So, real quick,
and
I'm gonna give him. Okay, yeah. As he takes the brunt of this attack, and I'm gonna let you get your shield spell off if you want. But as he takes the brunt of this attack in the abdomen, like you see him just bowl over in pain, and actually spit a little blood out of his mouth. But you just feel his grip tighten on all of you. As he grits his teeth, looks down at her, and just looks at his goal with sheer force of will and determination, and you can just feel your momentum pick up. So, Ginkgo, do you want to get a shield spell off?
Yeah, before she has a chance to, like, pound him again.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's fine. It's nothing you need to roll for or anything. Kyler, are you casting Cure Wounds?
Once.
Just once? Okay. What's the second
Can I
roll
give-
for a luck, or you just accidentally hit it twice?
Yeah. Whoops.
Okay, no, it's fine.
Can I give myself guidance and then do that?
Guidance is more for
Ability checks.
ability checks.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. You're still you're helping. So 6 is fine. That's good. You guys have the shield spell up now, thanks to Ginkgo, who pulls his staff out and huzzah! And, you see the shield form between you and her. Kyler reaches up and heals what he can. Sib, you're kind of nestled under that left arm. He's holding Kyler in that left hand still. Relic, you're holding on to Sib. Speaker, you're on his right hand. Is anyone else? I don't know. We got Kyler and Speaker have gone. Sib and Relic, is there anything you would like to do?
I've got the Calm Emotion spell, which can make creatures that are hostile to us indifferent to us. I would like to try that on our night hag behind us.
All right.
There's the text.
All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna pull her up in actual 20 here. Okay. Do. All right, so what is the save? 60 feet, concentration. Oh, I was looking at the range, sorry.
Yeah, 15 is the save.
DC 15. All right. I believe that is a wisdom.
Charisma saving throw.
Oh, is it charisma?
Yep.
I'll be fair and keep the same roll with just the modifier difference. Unless you would, I'll let you ask me to re-roll though, if you want me to. Your call.
I mean, you haven't rolled yet?
Oh, did it not show my roll?
No.
Okay. She made her save. We'll say that.
Rip.
It was very close, though. It was very close. And Relic, you're healing?
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out with my other hand and touch him and do what Carly did and hand him a heal too.
Okay. You can feel his strength coming back a little bit.
Oh, well.
Which, that brings us back around to him. Alright. She reaches out one hand, and you see this blue-black beam of energy shoot from her hand. Once again, at Sturgoth.
What spell is that?
You can make an Arcana check.
Question, is Sturgoth wearing armor at all?
Leather.
Damn.
Arcana. She just hit him with Ray of Enfeeblement.
No, dang.
The ship didn't do anything?
Well, not with this one. The shield will defend any and all magic missiles and give an AC bonus.
Got it.
Which you basically took away a big chunk of damage from her. Like, he wasn't going to take too many more of those magic missile hits. Magic missile is just devastating. It's ridiculous. Thanks for the follow, Mr. Vic, please.
I am going to try Calm Emotions one more time. Use my last second level spell slot because this is important.
Okay. Well, here, 1 second. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. We'll give her save. Charisma this time, though, right?
Yeah, it's still charisma.
DC 15.
15.
Is this a charm? I can't remember. Let me look. Enchantment.
It is a level 2 enchantment. It doesn't like induce a charm or frightened effect. It just kind of makes her indifferent towards us.
Okay. All right. She seems to start shaking her head and slowing down. Anybody else doing anything?
Nope.
Kyler, speaker.
How far away is she?
At this point, she's probably about 30 feet. Ooh, we're being raided. Hey, we've been raided by Featherfall. Oh my god. Everybody say hi. Hi, Featherfall.
Hey, Featherfall.
You caught us in mid-combat, too. Exciting times. Wow. I feel very popular all of a sudden. So, hey, Cranky. Speaker, what were you thinking about doing?
I mean, if she was close enough, maybe I could have punched her.
Throw your staff at her.
We could do
Don't
that. Don't
attack her. Don't attack her, please. Don't attack her.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
She's not close enough for me to attack. So
no, it's fine. Go ahead, attack her.
Hold my action.
No.
Attacking her would be amazing. You know you want to. Come on.
I don't have anything to throw.
It's okay. Just hit her with a gold piece or throw your pepper at her. That'd be awesome.
Let's not break calm emotions here.
No, we're acting defensively.
Alright, so she begins to back off. Darn it. Oh, thanks for the gift subs, too. It's a little sus, Brendan. I think you guys might know each other, but I'll take it.
Y'all are awesome, though. Thank you.
Very awesome. I'm loving this. So you guys, as much as I was really hoping that she would get a really good grip on you guys, she's confused, calming down. You guys are making some distance. You still got a good chunk of distance to cover to get over the ether gap, which is in essence a black hole in the ethereal plane. So he's desperately holding on to you guys, like, and just to reiterate, like, he's literally got Lady Sibylla under his arm, like, gripped up to him. Relic's holding on to her, trailing along behind. He's gripping on to Kyler with that left hand and the speaker with his right hand. He's flying through the ethereal plane as fast as he can go. He's wounded pretty seriously, even with the heals you guys gave him. Speaker's got the staff out with the shield spell still in tow, I assume, just precariously. Unless you've pulled that back.
No, we gotta maintain that. It's helping.
Okay. And Sib, you got 1 minute of this spell before that's going to wear off, she's probably going to come after you guys again.
Yep, I'm maintaining it as hard as I can, because, like, as much, as much time as we can get, like, you know, without her coming after us, while we're over this gap, like, the better.
Okay. So he's barreling as fast as he can, and you guys, you can actually see him sweating, visibly at this point. He's breathing a little heavy. He's still got, you know, some blood on his chin from where he took the hits from the magic missiles. He's holding on to you like almost uncomfortably tight, but you can tell it's because he's straining, not because he's trying to hurt you. By the time you get to the end of your spell, the minute of concentration, you guys are dead over top of this thing. You're looking down right into the gullet of the ether gap. This swirling mass, this vortex of ethereal mist and antimatter, basically. In the distance, you see a shimmering curtain, which you can only assume is the black abyss, the demiplane that you guys have been heading for. So you can see it. Your goal is in sight. As your spell ends, you just hear Nephi, the night hag, from a distance behind you, still in sight, but you've made a good gap between the two of you. You just hear her howl with anger. She knows that she's been duped. Now she's really mad. You see her just barrel into it. She's just coming for you at this point, as fast as she can. Poor Styragoth, like he's struggling, but he says, "Hold on. I gave you my word. We will arrive safely at our destination." And he just puts all he has into it. Is anyone else doing anything?
Yeah.
Sib is just going to tell Saragoth that she believes in him.
He smiles a little bit at that. Is anybody else doing anything?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that also, but Carla's got that.
Guidance.
I'll drop another cure wounds to him.
All right. He seems to be feeling a little better with that one. That was a good one. Anybody else before I make my move? All right. You guys are about to hate me. She blips out of sight.
Oh yeah, invisibility.
You guys ready for this?
I think we all are.
Okay. Patient defense. Okay. She reappears 10 feet in front of you. Just and Styragoth just, he's like backpedaling, gripping onto you guys as hard as he can. Oh, look at that. He is holding on to you guys for dear life. He is a man of his word. That's a nat 20 to hold on to you guys and keep you from falling into this tumbling maw of destruction beneath you. She, however, will swipe at him. Oh, damn. That's a 25 to hit, ladies and gentlemen. For 11 damage for the claws. She just rakes him right across his shoulder and up onto his neck and cheek with her nasty, vicious-looking claws. And he rears back, still gripping hold of you guys tightly. All right. So we're just going to keep the order that we've had going here. I believe that was it the speaker was, I think, first. Is that right?
Is she close now?
Yeah.
Close is she?
Yeah, she just took a swipe at him. You're in melee
So
range
she's
now.
within 5 feet then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time to get Jackie Chan on this chick.
Yeah, we're gonna bamf out our astral arms.
Nice.
Yeah, this is gonna work.
Arms of the astral self.
Boom. So, yeah, that's gonna happen.
All right.
And then we're going to. How does this work?
You gonna hit her?
I'm gonna punch her with my fist.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Mm, that's just a D20, right? Sorry, it's first combat.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. Yeah, you should. It's just an unarmed strike. Should be on your sheet there.
Oh, that one. Got it.
Mhm.
Boom.
And you should get some pluses to that too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ooh, probably. Yeah. Figure that out later.
Did you get
I'm
it?
punching it with my astral arms. I think that's this one.
There we go. All right. So 10 to hit. Is that right? Okay. Okay. So 10 to hit. That misses. I believe you get an additional bonus attack though.
I do have that. It's a thing.
Yeah, go for it. Roll to hit.
It's the fuck. What's that one called? I'm terrible at this monk shit.
It's all right. Learning process.
Flurry of blows. Immediately after you take an attack action, you can spend a key to do 2 unarmed bonus attacks.
And if you're gonna do that one, I think that will be all your key points expended though,
I still have 1.
because you used the defense as well. Patient defense.
Oh, yep. And then the arms.
Yeah. So
Right.
this will be your last point, but that's fine.
We're doing it.
All right. So 2 more unarmed strikes. Go ahead. Roll to hit. 13 actually misses.
Oh, that's not great. That one might be.
23 hits. All right. So. All right. 4 damage. All right. Who's next?
And then I suppose I need an extra key to stunning strike off that, wouldn't I?
Yeah. That's all right. You still hit her once.
Still hit her. That's cool.
Yeah. You did tag her, which she did not expect. She didn't see the arms coming.
Bam.
Was that Relic? You up?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
I'll thwack her with my imbued hand axe.
All right. 16. It hits her, but she shrugs it off. It doesn't actually penetrate.
Wow. She's got well, it's a magical weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was. You're 1 shy of breaking her armor class. I'll just say that.
Nice. Well, I think that's all I can do currently.
All right. Sib, Kyler, I'll let you guys choose. It's up to you. It's only 4 of us, so.
I'll go. Just because I have a thing that I hope will help.
All right. What you got?
Fairy fire.
Okay. Was that a dex save, I believe?
Yep, dex saving throw.
17.
Oh, come the fuck on.
I'm so
well,
sorry.
little. It's okay. Like
It is.
that.
It is aerial
actually-
combat.
Oh, I just remembered.
Yeah.
What?
I actually have advantage to attack. I have pack tactics.
Oh, what? You know what? I'll give it to
Oh
you.
yeah.
I'll give it to you. Take your extra roll. See if you can beat that 16.
No.
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 But remember that next time around, though.
I will.
All right. And
Yeah.
Kyler, what are you doing? What you got for us? Ah, there you go. 13 to hit. Misses, however. It's a good try. So Kyler's swinging. You guys are just like bristling with weapons. You can do your luck roll. Go for it. How many more of those you got? Well, still missed. It's a good try, though. It was a good try. All right. That brings us back around to her. Now that the staff is out of the way. Bonus action. Sorry, go ahead. That's alright. What's your bonus action, Kyler? Still missed.
Wow.
It was a 10. It's all good. It's all good. You guys are fine. You got this. Don't worry. Actually, I'm going to give him a go before she goes. Unless you guys don't want him to.
No objections.
Alright, so he launches himself straight up. Kind of taking a disengage action. And as he's doing it, he begins to spin as fast as he can. You're not really sure what he's doing. He's gearing up for something. But yeah, he's moving up as fast as he can, spinning as he does. She's gonna plug in with more magic missiles. You see once again the magic missiles hit him. Just dum 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 as he's spinning. Hit him really hard. Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah, he just lost all of you guys. So you guys all launch out into the ether. Luckily for you, he was heading up and spinning, so you guys go flying outward. Keep in mind, you are in the ethereal realm. You can move. So when you come back around, you're no longer hanging on to him. You don't have his movement abilities. You have your normal movement abilities. Dang. I rolled a 1 to hold on to you, sorry. I know, right? Alright, so that'll bring us back around. Speaker.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you like to do?
I would like to kind of concentrate on that place over there that we were headed in the first place.
Alright, you want to bolt for the demiplane?
And think about moving in that direction. Yes, please, as fast as I can.
Alright, well, you can move at your normal movement rate to get
Cool.
there. And as a monk, that's heightened, obviously.
That is now heightened over my base.
Still applies. So you're trucking. You can actually take a oh my god, dash action and double your movement.
Cool.
All right, so the speaker starts bolting. All right. Relic.
Yeah, I think the same thing as
Okay.
as the speakers doing. I'll do that too.
All right.
That seems like the sensible option.
Taking a dash.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Lady Sib.
How close is our friend to me? Because I was underneath his arm.
Let's say you flew out maybe about 10 feet.
Okay. I would like to give him a moment to react. I'm going to reach out my hand, tell him that we're flying, that we're going to be heading towards the pocket dimension, and like hold out my hand for him to grab onto, like if he can.
Okay.
And if he does, like, then I'm going to take the dash action and head that way too.
All right. He kind of looks at you, smiles, kind of wipes a little fresh, speckle of blood off his lip and says, "Go. I've got this."
She's going to, like, look at him concerned for his safety, but then head down to the demiplane.
Okay.
So take the dash action.
All right. Kyler, what about you? Oh, this must be big. All right. You can get rope out while you're dashing. I'll allow it. So Kyler is disengage, you dash, same as everyone else, and getting rope out as you're doing it. Okay. So as you guys are running, you see him pull this silver scimitar off his back, very large one, and immediately just barrel down into the night hag himself. Alright, so Kyler's trying to dangle rope out for everyone to grab a hold of. He misses, unfortunately, with his first attack. And his second. Wow, the dice are not being friendly tonight. But he is engaging her directly now. She will attack him. Why is she getting the good rolls? My god, that 22 to hit with her claws. 16 damage. He takes a huge open wound across the chest from her claws. Still hovering his ground. I would say standing, but he's not really standing. Are you guys going to continue your actions? Dashing for the dimension?
Yep.
Alright. Unless anyone says otherwise. We're going to continue on with their little struggle here in midair as you guys are moving away. Post-haste. Oh, jeez. Natural 1. Hang on. Okay.
You may have, like, 2 GM toggled on the night hag sheet, by the way.
It's very possible. Do you see the rolls I just made, I assume?
No, like, we've been seeing none of her rolls.
You didn't see the ones I just made?
Only his rolls.
The
Nope.
one and the 5?
Yeah, because to those.
Well, we see his,
Okay.
but Yeah, I see the 1 and the 5, but not hers.
Okay, it's probably because they're coming out of Beyond 20 or D&D Beyond.
Okay.
You can
using
see
that.
them in the stream if you have the stream up. They're showing. All right, so
I'm using D&D Beyond. I don't know why it wouldn't show up for yours.
well, it's just in Roll20. It's not showing. It's all right. It's all good. I promise I'm being fair. All right.
Oh, we know. I just I didn't know you were rolling it from D&D Beyond. I was just saying, like, you know, if we're supposed to see the rolls, and you know, maybe
Oh, yeah.
that's a setting you'd want to check.
Yeah, I'll check that.
That's all I'm getting at.
No, you're good. I'll look into it for sure because I know I want you guys to see him. But yeah, she's gonna finally miss him. Finally, God. All right. And are you guys gonna continue on?
Yep. Continue dashing.
All right. He's getting a little desperate. So, let's do this. 18. All right. I'm gonna let her do that. So, basically, he dropped his sword on that last round, which went tumbling down into the maw of the abyss below. Oh, yeah, I suppose he could do that, huh? That might actually be just what we need. Not being kind tonight. I'm gonna start using real dice. So yeah, basically they are locked on each other. He just, you know, he's unarmed now. He grabbed a hold of her. And from what you can tell, he's attempting to pull her down into the gap.
Dang.
That's what it looks like he's trying to do at this point. You guys continuing your moves? You're getting close.
Yep.
All right. So, finally, she rolled terrible. All right. So, let's see here. Do. I gotta type this out. 1 second. So, as he hits the event horizon of this thing, Night Hag just flailing and struggling with all her might to break free, but she can't. You hear him shout out something in a language that none of you except Lady Sib understand, thanks to her gift from the pool. Any of you who speak Sylvan can tell it's some type of ancient Sylvan dialect, but you can't really understand it. As you reach the edge of the curtain to the demiplane, you look back and see him go over the edge, and the Night Hag and he plunge into darkness and are gone forever.
At that, Sib is just going to shed a tear and just say, "We'll never forget you. Your memory will live on." Like, she is rather, like, touched by that act of self-sacrifice.
Well, it's strangely quiet as you land on the edge of this curtain. I know it's a little somber for some of you, but you have arrived at the edge of the Black Abyss. Inside, somewhere you already know, there is a large cavern with an obelisk with the words time and space carved on it, and at the foot of this obelisk grows the Chrono Lily. You know that by looking into the lily, into the nectar in its flower, that you may be able to see the future. This was your goal. This is now a part of your quest, one that has had some sacrifices tonight.
Yeah.
Well, it is past the time where we would have ended it, so how about we leave that cliffhanger for next week and end it there?
I think that's a fine idea, and I appreciate you guys letting that go a little longer. I know it was a little longer than normal. 10:30 is usually our quit time for this session, but it got exciting.
Oh, yeah.
So, I will say, thank you guys for joining us, my players, my lovely, lovely players, Lady Sib, Relic, the speaker, Kyler. Special mention to Jeff and Hyacinth, who passed away this evening. I will...
And Styragoth.
And Styragoth, who
Rest
also
in peace.
valiantly gave his existence away. I will say that we may have a new character joining us next week.
Ooh, cool.
Thank you, Code Blue. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you guys, Featherfall, for the raid, and you guys for sticking around. Love you, Cranky. Love you, Brendan, Gentendo. All you guys are absolutely amazing. I hope to see you guys again soon. And for those of you watching us now, for those of you watching us yesterday, and those of you watching us in the future, good night.
Good night, everyone.